Hey VV Nation, welcome to the next installment of the VectorVest 7 navigation series. This is going to be graphs part 2, where we're going to look at performance and climate graphs, two very important graphs used in the VectorVest system to help you to make better decisions on what's going on with your stock compared to other stocks and the three major movers of the market: earnings, interest, and inflation. And we put it on a level for you from a VectorVest perspective to get a better understanding of what the numbers really mean rather than just looking at the numbers. All right, we're going to get right into the VectorVest software. Not yet. What we're going to do is look at our agenda for today first. We're going to look at performance and climate graphs. That says climate, all right? Performance and climate graphs. What we're going to cover today: what is a performance graph? What does it really track and what is it really looking for? How do I use a performance graph is one thing to know about it, but how do I effectively use it? What can I compare when I'm looking at a performance graph? We're going to talk about what the market climate graph is, and it's outside of the market timing graph. It's one of the most important graphs that you're going to look at to understand what's truly happening in the market. Again, three major movers of the market are earnings, interest, and inflation, and we put those indicators on a level that you can very easily discern what's good, what's bad, what's indifferent, how important it is, and how I can use it. All right, let's get into the software. From the software, we're going to start right from a blank page. Actually, let's go back to the watch list that we created from the most previous video, which was the graphs part 1. All right, when we looked at these stocks, let's right click, let's autofill the columns. I added another stock in here from the last one, which was Lockheed Martin. You'll understand why in a second, because I think that that's a very important industry. But is there a better industry outside of the industry that Lockheed Martin is in? All right, so we have NVIDIA, AMD, Palantir, all stocks that we all know about. We looked at their graphs, we looked at the industries, we looked at the sectors. We found some stocks that we weren't even aware of as well. So let's start off with NVIDIA. Why do I want to start there? Because I think it's still the hottest stock on the planet. It really is. But is it the best stock in that space? So let's analyze it real quick. It is undervalued, relative value above 1, relative safety above 1, in an uptrend. Look at that earnings growth rate at 52%, buy recommendation. See, man, there's not much that I can say that's negative about NVIDIA. Again, the hottest stock on the planet. But watch this. Is it the best stock in space? If I simply double click on the stock, it will bring up all of the stocks that are in that industry. Let's see, and it's in the semiconductor manufacturing. NVIDIA is the #1 stock by VST, by far the best. All right, TSM, MU, Micron, Asteria Labs, AMD, AVGO, a lot of stocks that you do know about. But let's compare these on a performance graph to see if it really holds up to the billing of being what I call the hottest stock on the planet, or is any of these other stocks a little bit better play? So we got 67 stocks in here. I'm only going to look at the top 5 instead of going through all 67, but if you want to, you could if you wanted to. So I'm going to close this. I'm going to go over to the graphs tab. And now, remember, we've already talked about a stock graph. I showed you a different way to find the industry and sector, but you can click on either industry or sector and graph an industry or sector. We've already talked about market timing. We're gonna bypass this for a second and start off with the performance graph. When I click on the performance graph, all it automatically brings up is the performance of the VectorVest composite over X amount of time. In this case, we're only looking at a 3-month graph. I'm going to put this on a 1-year graph. This is the VectorVest composite over the last year. All right, this tracks the movement of over 9,000 stocks. We can clearly see that over the last year, it's in an uptrend. Has it had some pullbacks? Absolutely, but overall, stair-step effect, bottom left, top right. In the last video, we talked about how important looking at a graph is, and this is the performance of the VectorVest composite over the last year. Now, we're going to add items to the graph. We want to look at I wrote them down. There we go. We want to look at NVIDIA, NVDA, comma. I want to look at Taiwan Semi, TSM, comma. I want to look at Micron, comma, AMD, comma, AVGO. Now, again, I only wanted to look at 5. As soon as I hit the enter, all 5 of the stocks will appear on the side. Now, what does the performance graph track? It tracks the performance over the last year, not price. It tracks performance. How well have these stocks performed as compared to the VectorVest composite over the last year? I'm going to end up with NVIDIA. Let's start with Taiwan Semi. Boom. Wow, Taiwan Semi has outperformed the market in a nice way. Again, not looking at price, tracking it from just a value of 0, see that on the graph, 0, and seeing how much it has performed compared to the VectorVest composite. Definitely outperformed the composite in a big way. Let's go to Micron. Micron started off somewhere in the middle of this graph to outperform a TSM, but then after some time, they both fell. TSM still came out on top over Micron. AMD, AMD, not nearly as well. TSM is outperforming the both of them, but they are both outperforming the VectorVest composite. How do I know which is which? I'm looking at the color coordination. All right, so that red, and actually if I put my mouse on that line, it'll tell me that's AMD. Put my mouse on that line, it tells me that it's MU. Put my mouse on that line, and that tells me that it is TSM. There it is, TSM. All right, let's go to AVGO, another big name in the space. Wow, look at that, keeping up with TSM, but still TSM is outperforming over the last year. And now let's go to NVIDIA. Boom, blows all of those stocks out of the water over the last year of performance. So if I'm looking at this long term, would I rather be in NVIDIA than all of these? The answer to that is yes, but not everybody is saying, well, I want to hold NVIDIA longer term. Watch this. Let's move from a 1 year, and I'm down in the bottom right. Let's go from a 1 year to a 6 month. NVIDIA is still outperforming. How about, though, now 2 of these are underperforming the VectorVest composite. But NVIDIA is killing it. Let's go to a 3-month graph. Ooh, interesting how TSM over the last 3 months is outperforming even NVIDIA. Wow, that tells me that shorter term, 3-month, maybe I like TSM a little bit more. Even though NVIDIA is killing it, maybe TSM is showing me a little something that maybe I'd like to be in that stock as well. Let's go put this on a 1-month graph. Then again, we go back to NVIDIA outperforming everybody. Let's go to a 5-day graph. I can go down as low as I want, depending on if I'm trading or if I am a longer-term investor. NVIDIA is still killing it over a 5-day period. Let's go all the way down to a 1-day period. Look at that. At the top of the list now happens to be Micron. That's over the last day. Now, if I'm a trader, from a performance perspective, I can say, I still like NVIDIA, but right now, MU or Micron is outperforming everybody. So depending on your look back period will give you more insight, depending on how you trade, which position you want to be in right now. Longer term, do I like NVIDIA? Right now, absolutely. Maybe swing trade, let's go on a 3-month graph. I might like TSM a little bit more because it's outperforming that. And if I'm a day trader, let's go to a 1 day, and then I can see what's killing it that way. Performance graph tracks performance, not price. And if I'm investing in the market, I want stocks that are performing. Whether I'm a long-term investor, whether I'm a swing trader, whether I'm a day trader, I can see by way of performance the stocks in an industry and what they're doing. Let's do this. Let's close this. So everybody here knows that I love Palantir. I love Palantir. I love what the company does. I'm up about 61% on it. I'm very transparent about the stocks that I own. Let's do the same thing with Palantir. If we double click, and this is going to be something very interesting. As I double click to see all of the stocks that are in the space, how about this? Palantir is now number 5 in the list by VST. Are these other stocks a better play than Palantir? Let's go find out. Let's go back to the graphs. Let's go back to the performance graph, and I wrote down the stocks that I need in this list. Let's go take a look at you. Oh, baby, you got what I need. But you said, never mind. PANW, comma, CHKP, comma, and Palantir. All right, there they all are again as compared to the VectorVest composite. I'm going to start off with you. Let's go see where it is. Blowing the VectorVest composite out the water. Let's go put it on a 1 year graph though. Wow, you in that space, same space with Palantir, look at that performance. But it took a while before it could outperform the VectorVest composite. The cool thing about this, if you look at it at the right time, you can see when it starts to outperform and jump on board with it. Let's go look at FTNT. A little better than the composite, but U is better. Let's go to Palo Alto. A stock that has been in the news a lot, but performance compared to U, bit better. All right, it is better than the VectorVest composite. It is better than FTNT, but nowhere near U. Let's go to CHKP. Same scenario. U is killing it. U is killing it. We haven't looked at Palantir yet. Let's go put on Palantir. And look at that. This is why I love Palantir. Over the last year, Palantir is killing it. But if you like a backup stock to keep your eyes on in the same space, U is a possibility as well. Now, that's long term. I like Palantir long term. Let's say if you're swing trading, let's go to 6-month graph. On a 6-month graph, look how close U and Palantir are. They're going back and forth in performance. How many of you knew that U was keeping up with Palantir? Let's go put this on a 3-month graph. 3-month graph, U is outperforming Palantir. Look at that. Again, I'm a big fan of Palantir, but look at this. A lot of the year, U has been a better play from performance. And let's go put this on a 1-month graph. U is still killing it. Where's Palantir? Palantir, there's U. No, there's Palantir. Palantir over the last 1 month is doing the darn thing. So the performance graph, again, only tracks performance. It does not track price. It's seeing what stocks have been doing well as far as performance. And again, a graph is worth 1,000 words. Trade the chart, not your heart. All right, let's go back to the viewers tab. So I want you to take a look, and you can do this with any stock. How about this? Let's go back to the graphs. Let's say I want to compare this to the S&P 500. Let's go type in the SPX. SPX. Is it outperforming the SPX? Where's the SPX? Let's go put this back on a 1-year graph. Where's the SPX? Ooh, SPX is down here. All right, just about every stock is outperforming the S&P. Let's go look at the IXIC. IXIC. Let's go look at the IXIC. Hit the enter. See where it pops up. Wow, look at that. The IXIC is this bluish line, this teal line. And the stocks are still outperforming. I love the ability to look at a performance graph to give me some semblance of an idea of how my stock is being compared to the peers in its industry. Hopefully you found that useful. All right, we've got another graph to take a look at. Let's go to Add New, and we're going to go over to where it says Stock and go down to the Market Climate graph. Now, on the market climate graph, there's a lot of things here, but what you're going to notice is you're not just going to be looking at numbers on these indicators. You're going to be looking at these numbers on the VectorVest scaling between 0 and 2. Always remember, if the indicator is above 1, it's favorable. If it's below 1, it's unfavorable. Let's go put this on a 10-year graph, because from a market timing perspective, the longer the time frame, the better off you are. Now, the first thing you want to look at is earnings. Earnings is the engine that drives a market higher. Look at this. All the way from 2015, earnings have been rising. Companies are making money. That's good for the economy. At the top, though, we have what we call the Earnings Trend Indicator, or ETI. This lets us know if we're in a bull market or a bear market. Cast on that scale between 0 and 2, above 1, we're in a bull market. When the ETI goes below the value of 1, right here it's at 0.85, and that's on 9/11 of 2020, we were in a bear. Oh, so what happened during that time? Ta-da! COVID. And the market got drove down, the economy got drove down. We were in a bona fide bear market. And then slowly but surely, 0.85, 0.90, finally got above 1 on 1/29 of 2021. Earnings trend indicator went to 1.01. Again, no matter what's going on in the market, no matter what anybody is out there telling you, the earnings trend indicator in the VectorVest software will give you a discernible determination of if the market's in a bull market or a bear market. ETI above 1, the market's in a bull market. The ETI below 1, the market's in a bear market. Now, let's go look at 1/29, 2021. Where was, and this is what I'm going to use for interest rates, all right? T-notes. The T-notes VV. VV means that it's on a VectorVest scaling. 0.27. Ooh. That must have been when we started getting into rising interest rates. Look at that. 2021, wow, was it rising? But it wasn't good. Interest rates weren't good. CPI, the inflation indicator, 0.65. Inflation was on the rise, right? Inflation was on the rise all the way back to 6/19 of 2020. CPI inflation was in a good spot right there because we were fully born into low interest, low everything. And then we started raising, and inflation started to rise back in 2020, all the way up to what? 9%. CPI, our inflation was horrible at a 0.40. And then the market, looking at the earnings trend indicator, looking at earnings, looking at these indicators, interest rates and inflation were still bad, rising and bad, and that's not a good thing. Where are we right now? Well, let's go look at the earnings trend indicator, bring this all the way to the end. The earnings trend indicator is at 1.09, market's still bullish. T-notes, or looking at interest rates, 0.92. Interest rates are falling, but not in a positive zone yet, saying that interest rates are good, but inflation is. Look at inflation at 1.10. That's because inflation is falling. The rate of inflation is falling. Prices are still high, but the rate of inflation is falling, so positive sign. Inflation is getting better. Interest rates are getting better, but not at a value of 1. And earnings, the companies are still making money. Man, we hit a high on the earnings trend indicator of 1.36. Market rocking and rolling. That's a great thing. And then we started falling off a little bit. We're still above the value of 1, so we're still in a bona fide bull market. So that's the second part of this video, looking at the market climate. And this gives you, by way of the VectorVest system, a way to truly analyze what's going on in the market with the 3 major moves of the market: earnings, interest, and inflation. No matter what anybody tells you, those are the things that move markets globally. Now, there's a lot of other things that are put into the picture, but those are the 3 main things that move markets globally. And on our market climate graph, you've got a perfect picture of what's going on with all 3 of those things. The big thing for me is that earnings, companies are still beating earnings. There's another side of that, though. The companies are guiding lower so that they can make the bottom line stay in the black so that their investors are happy with them. So just keep that in mind. Yes, earnings are growing. That's a beautiful thing. That's good for the economy. And for me, it makes it tough for the Fed to cut interest rates when companies are making money. But companies are guiding lower. So hopefully this gives you more insight on the flexibility and the power of the VectorVest software to help you guys make money. Performance graph, you can graph all of the stocks in an industry to see if your stock really is the bee's knees, the cream of the crop. You can look at a market climate graph to get a true picture of what's truly going on in the economy. Folks, I'm hoping that you love these videos. If you do, once again, I want to invite you to go to our YouTube page, the VectorVest YouTube page. Notice that the navigation system is in a watch list for you. If you're brand new to the channel and you like this, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so that you'll be alerted to when new videos like this come out. But if you want to go through each and every one of the recorded sessions on the navigation series, you can do that and get a better understanding of how to use every tab in the software. We're going to slowly but surely get through each and every tab. If you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button and tell your friends. Share this content. Let other people know what we're doing here at VectorVest, because we do the work, you reap the rewards. Before you invest, check VectorVest. Folks, this video is over, and until the next time, see ya.